Welcome back, y'all. Got some big news to update you guys with. Aaron Rodgers is officially a Jet. Just wanted to get you guys a quick little, recap about it and our thoughts on it. Just wanted to get it out before the draft comes up this Thursday. We know Latif is the Aaron Rodgers fan of the podcast. Obviously, wanted to get his take on what happened. Yeah, how do you feel about it, man? Like, just initial thoughts? What are you thinking?
My initial thoughts, I'm very excited. Very excited for the season of the Jets. I think the AFC East is arguably going to be the best division of football now. The Dolphins got better, the Jets got better, and then the Bills are always going to be there with Josh Allen. I think not. I don't want to get into too many predictions as of right now. I know we're going to get into that later. You're going to ask me a few questions, but my initial thoughts. I'm just very very excited. It took a long time. It took almost 2-3 months for the trade to go down. I knew it was going to come closer to draft time. My initial prediction was going to either happen on draft night or after draft night because I think the Jets will want to give up compensation in this year's draft, but they ultimately did. I think Joe Douglas was forced to give up a little bit more than he wanted to initially, but it's Aaron Rodgers. He's arguably a top 10, top 5 quarterback ever as far as consensus. For me, he's a little bit higher than that as far as just based off talent, but. Not trying to get in too much into predictions and stuff like that right now, because you're gonna ask me later. So just my initial thoughts was very excited. Changed my profile picture to Aaron Rodgers at Cal, bleed green. So I will be supporting the Jets next year, and I'm shameless. Yes, I'll be supporting the Jets. Yes, I'm a Jets fan because Aaron Rodgers is there, and I'm addressing it now, so I don't have to hear this in the NFL season. Yes, I'm a Jets fan. Yes, I'm gonna be saying all of that. So bleed Green Bay.
I got a question, and I get it. Everything's different. Do you see any parallels to the AFC West last year? The AFC East and the AFC West last year. You see two teams like Denver and like the Chargers start retooling. Um, you see the Jets and you see the Dolphins retooling. Going to be the best division of football, right? Like the most hyped division of football. The Patriots made some moves, but obviously aren't thought to win the division like the Raiders were last year. Um, and the Chiefs kind of stayed pretty consistent, like the Bills did this year, right? Didn't make a lot of moves, but they've had success in the past. They've been the team to beat in that division in the past. Do you see similarities? Obviously, you're higher on this Aaron Rodgers trade than a Russell Wilson trade. Um, yeah, like do you see any similarities between those two divisions? I thought that was kind of interesting because they kind of built the same way over the past year, right? You had some promising teams who put together and got these big pieces. Um, the Chargers getting J.C. Jackson, Khalil Mack, right? You got Jalen Ramsey going to the Dolphins. You obviously have the Russell Wilson trade and the Aaron Rodgers trade looking similar. Like, do you see any similarities? Do you think you get the same output where it was a very, very disappointing, I'd say, division, right? The Broncos sucked. The Raiders sucked. The Chargers were kind of but the Chiefs still, like, were good. Do you see any, yeah, I just get what's your thought on that.
Yeah, I see it. To your point, I actually do see a couple parallels with those both divisions, but I think it'll be a different outcome. I think this division will be a lot more competitive just because, for one, I think the quarterbacks are better in the division as a whole because I think Derek Carr was a downfall of the division. Also, for as far as the Chargers, they suffered a lot of injuries throughout the season. I don't think you can predict that. I don't think we should predict that for this division. I think the defenses are better in this division. So I like you said, I'm much more higher on the Aaron Rodgers trade than Russell Wilson. Two years ago, and like last year, 2 years ago, Aaron Rodgers was back-to-back MVP. So it's way different than the Russell Wilson coming. I think the Jets have way less holes than the Dolphins do. As far as the Dolphins and the Jets comparison, I think Garrett Wilson would be the best receiver on the Broncos currently, and so. I'm not predicting Aaron Rodgers to regress like Russell Wilson did. I think the Jets defense is going to be better than the Dolphins was last year. I think the running game is better than the Dolphins was last year because just because that Javonte got injured. So I have to, Brees got injured last year, but I'm just going to assume he's going to be healthy this year. I'm going to assume Javonte's going to be healthy this year as well. So
Nathaniel Hackett still has a part in this, man. Nathaniel Hackett was
consistent thing. Nathaniel Hackett was a scapegoat.
One consistent thing.
Nathaniel Hackett was a scapegoat. Was he a terrible head coach? Yes, but as far as being an offensive coordinator, he was actually pretty good. I've seen a lot of plays last year. Watch the Broncos where receivers are open, and Russell Wilson was not hitting them. You always think to that play when in the end zone when KJ Hamler wide open.
Hamler.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to have a problem seeing the middle of the field like Russell Wilson consistently does on a year-to-year basis. So I'm not going to compare those two situations because they're just completely different. Nathaniel Hackett's problem was when they called timeouts, clock management, stuff like that. I don't think he really had a grip over the locker room as well. I don't think he's much of a leader. I don't think he's much of a leader of men. I think Robert Saleh is that. I think Nathaniel Hackett would be better for them than Michael LaFleur was. So it's some parallels. I'll agree, but I don't think the division is going to come out. I think Miami's going to have a good season. They were one of the best offenses last year when Tua was healthy, and they increased the defense tremendously this offseason. So I don't think it's going to be the same. The only thing I am predicting is a Bills fall off. They're going to go 10-7.
Gotcha. I think it's interesting that there are parallels between the two, so I'm curious to see what happens. But getting more into the New York Football Jets, what is their ceiling and what is their floor, in your opinion?
I think their ceiling is a championship. I think their floor is a first-round exit. I think when you add Aaron Rodgers to a team that was 7-10 with Zach Wilson and Mike White as your quarterbacks, and Breece Hall coming back this year, a top 5 defense coming back this year, they're going to have an amazing season. I think they can definitely win the AFC East. They competed last year with Zach Wilson, like I said. When you give Aaron Rodgers, who just 2 years ago won back-to-back MVPs, when you give him weapons like Elijah Moore, Alan Lazard, who he has familiarity with, you give him Breece Hall out the backfield, a top 5 defense, the team ceiling is very high. It's going to be tough. They're in one of the hardest divisions of football. But if you're telling me that the Jets can't actually win a Super Bowl, I think that's just hating at that point. It's like their ceiling is definitely a Super Bowl. And I think it's actually going to be Super Bowl or bust this year because Aaron Rodgers only has 1 or 2 more years in the NFL. You need to maximize the potential of these young players on small contracts now. I think the Jets can definitely win the championship this year. They have all the pieces. They have no holes besides. They can upgrade the weapons room a little bit more. They can upgrade the offensive line a little bit more. Besides that, they really don't have any holes. They have one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, a top 6 quarterback in his prime. Like, in his prime, I think, last year was the first year that Josh Allen was actually bearing Aaron Rodgers. And I think people are forgetting that. People are forgetting that Aaron Rodgers won the MVP 2 years in a row. Last year in a down season, he had like 26 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. That's a good year for most of the quarterbacks in the NFL. And we're calling that a down season for Aaron Rodgers.
I don't know if he's top 6 right now, top 7 right now. I don't know if today I was thinking of him as top 7.
I think next year he'll come in and be very motivated, and I would take him over. It all depends. If he comes back into form if he comes back into the form like he did in 2021, he's a top 5 quarterback easily, bro.
Well,
easily.
Sure, because he was MVP. But you'd have Mahomes, over Rodgers, you'd have Burrow over Rodgers.
Yes.
I'd assume you'd have Herbert over Rodgers.
It depends if the Chargers actually give him help, but
no, it's like simply if you have a franchise, who would you rather have, Herbert or Rodgers, right today? Like for
Herbert
the
because
season.
of the age.
For this season. It's just for one season.
I think Aaron Rodgers is the top 6 quarterback in the league. So I will have Herbert. I will have Burrow. I probably even have Allen.
Would you have Lamar?
I think Aaron Rodgers could be better than Lamar next season. I think Aaron Rodgers could be better than Jalen Hurts next season. I think
Jalen Hurts, Lamar, and Trevor Lawrence are the conversations where I'm not sure.
I think he could be better in all 3 of them next year. But the Trevor Lawrence is really one that strikes me because they have such a potent offense coming in this year. But if he had one down season, remember he had that down season a few years ago before he won the 2 MVPs. If he comes back with that, I think he's gonna have a chip on his shoulder. I think.
How old is he now? How old is he now?
He's 39. But
it's just like I get it.
Fine.
And like
that's fine.
Yes.
He doesn't take a lot of hits. He doesn't get injured a lot. Come on, man.
But it's a different team, man. It's a different team. This is an injured O-line, right? We've seen Mekhi Becton. We've seen Elijah Barrett.
They're gonna draft the O-line. I think they should go get what's his name? I'm blanking.
Skoronski, Johnson.
No, Skoronski. Broderick Jones. I think they should go get Broderick Jones at that 15 pick. I think he'll still be there unless the Patriots take him. But They should definitely go get O-line in the first round. They'll beef up their O-line. You got Elijah Tucker. You got I'm blanking on his other
Makai
name. What is
Becton.
it? Makai
Makai
Becton.
Becton.
They can stay healthy, it's gonna be a very good O-line. Brees Hall
I
was
agree,
very
but
good.
if is the question, if is the question, and I understand. Like I like their O line a lot
You
when
have
they're
question marks
healthy,
for every single team, bro. You have question marks for every single team.
but
Um,
no team has had the holes the past couple of years. The Jets have had injuries the past couple of years. That's cool. Anyone and everyone can get injured, but the Jets
the
have
Chargers
been injured.
haven't had
So
the Chargers have multiple injuries every single year.
that's fine. That's perfectly fine. I'm not here to defend Justin Herbert, but Justin Herbert also isn't 39, right? Justin Herbert also doesn't have that much wear and tear on him. So like there is I get it. And
Uh,
Rodgers has avoided injuries for a while, like for a long time in his career. He's not been a very injured quarterback. He's been durable. He's been fine. But yeah, I think being 39, having an off year, it's not like you know what I mean. Like it's not like a LeBron thing where
off
you're
year
just
for
gonna
him is
keep like
26 and
consistent.
12 though, Max. Off year for him is 26 and 12.
He didn't make the
If the Jets
playoffs.
had
He
20
didn't make the
if the
playoffs.
Jets if the Jets had 26 and 12, he had no weapons last year. If the Jets had 26 and 12 last year, they were making the playoffs. Like probably maybe even winning the game because the Bills did not look that good in the playoffs.
Yeah,
So
I mean the
I just
the NFC.
I want to say this. Last time everyone counted out Aaron Rodgers, he had a chip on his shoulder. He came back won 2 VPs. And I think we'll get that again. I think we'll get that again. He's gonna come in this year with a chip on his shoulder, looking to prove something. He's gonna ball out. That's my prediction. I think Aaron Rodgers has a lot left in the tank. I think he followed the same mark as Brett Favre coming from the Packers to the Jets. I think he's gonna have that in mind, and he's gonna want to do something that Brett Favre never did, and actually winning the Super Bowl. He got them to the AFC Championship, but did not win the Super Bowl. I think he wants to do that for. I think he wants to win the Super Bowl for Alan Lazard. He would probably want to get Randall Cobb in there. I think it depends on who they. They got to fill out this
I
weapons
don't.
room a lot. And I'm
I think.
predicting. I'm predicting Elijah Moore is going to have a 1,400 season this year. He like Aaron Rodgers with Elijah Moore, he's going to be amazing this year. Elijah
So
Moore, not Elijah
I
Moore.
know
I mean,
Garrett Wilson.
tripping. Garrett Wilson. My bad.
I was gonna say, yeah, Elijah Moore is kind of crazy just because there's so many wide receivers in that room now. That's gonna be weird that he gets that many touches. I think Aaron Rodgers. I don't know. Maybe you can call me a Bears fan because I don't like the guy, but Aaron Rodgers is a very selfish person. At the end of the day, if there's anyone he wants to win it for, it's himself. That's it, right? Maybe Randall Cobb. I don't think he gives two shits about Alan Lazard. I don't think he gives anything about the Jets organization, Brett Favre, whatever. He wants to win the ring for himself, so people will get off his back for being a choker in the NFC Championship. At the end of the day, the rest of his career, he'll be a choker in the NFC Championship because he's not coming back. He's not coming back. So you know what I mean? He'll always have that joke on. But I think more than anything, he wants to win it for himself. And I guess we'll see if he does. If he will
Wait,
do that.
because I was a little bit all over the place. With my answer, I wanted to reiterate.
Yeah.
I think the ceiling for this team is a championship. I think the floor for this team is a first round exit. I think when you add Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, give him Elijah Moore, you give him Alan Lazard, a top 5 defense, a good running game, a decent O line. He can take this team to the championship. It's going to be hard. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but Aaron Rodgers can be a top 6 quarterback this year. And that's all the Jets needed last year. They went 7-10 with Zach Wilson and Mike White. So I just want to reiterate that, you know.
I got my ceiling's the AFC Championship, and my floor is 9-8. I think they
It
just fall
depends.
out
It
in the
depends.
playoffs.
It depends. Oh, my bad. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like the simple limiting factor with everything is age. Not with Aaron Rodgers with their team. They're a very young and experienced team. I get it. They have right. They've played seasons, but they haven't played in the playoffs. I don't know if they have anybody who's played in the playoffs except for CJ Uzama, right? Like they're a very, very young team. They're all great, right? Garrett Wilson's great. O line's good. Brees Hall's great. He showed that last year. Sauce Gardner's great. That's cool. But they have no playoff experience. I think it's very, very rare that we see a rookie team like that go in and go and win a Super Bowl, like what the Bengals did, whatever, 2 years ago, right? So that's like I think the limiting factor. I'm not really doubting Rodgers this year. I know I've whatever talked my shit about him. I do think Rodgers will have a good year. Um, but I don't think they'll win just for the simple fact that their team's just very young and experienced. I think we could see a Bengals type thing where they make a run of the championship, don't win it, and then next year come back, fix the gaps that you missed, and then with that experience you go to next year. But their window with Aaron
Actually,
Rodgers
yeah,
is kind of
that's
short.
possible. That's
So
possible. They do only, they
yeah,
do
I
only
think their
have
win.
maybe two,
I think their win.
but 3 years of pushing it.
Yeah,
It's like
their window's short. But I think that if they can't win a Super Bowl, it's because of the inexperience of the rest of their team. Going to the next question, which is we already answered it. How many more years left do you think he has? I think you said 2 years, right? You're thinking 2 years he's done. I think he'll do three. But at the end of the day, it's not really that much to have another contract, or you know what I mean. I don't think he's really gonna be here for another 5-6 year period. Next up, though, their trade that they made. Did the Jets give up too much or too little to get Aaron Rodgers on their team? Or do you think the trade was even on both sides?
A lot of people are saying that the Jets got fleeced. I don't agree with that at all. You're getting a great return for what you gave up. A first and the second round is kind of steep because the next year is conditional. So if Aaron Rodgers plays 65% of the snaps, then it's a first round pick instead of a second round pick. I don't think they got fleeced. When the return is a Hall of Fame level talent, like Aaron Rodgers, no matter the age, and the trade increases your ceiling so much. Otherwise, you'd be stuck with like Zach Wilson or Mike White, and Mike White is on the Dolphins now, so you've been looking like crazy if you didn't get Aaron Rodgers. So I think the Jets had to do this deal. I think Lamar Jackson's off the table, considering that the Ravens signed Odell Beckham, and that's really was one of the receivers that he wanted over there in Baltimore. So I think with that being said, I think they didn't give up too much. They had to get him. It was literally do or die at that point. So well, would I like them to give a little less? Yes, but it's really if I think the ends justify the means. You know what I'm saying? So that's it.
Fair. Last question I got. It is a trade is with two teams, right? You gotta have at least two teams. We talk a lot about the
Yep.
Jets. Where do you think the Packers go from here? Jordan Love, you get the 13th pick. I've seen people online laughing because this might be the year Green Bay finally takes a receiver. JSN,
Yeah.
Jordan Addison, Zay
I don't
Flowers.
think Jason will
Someone
be
might.
there.
You think JSN gets picked earlier?
12.
You
I
think it
think
goes
he's
to
just going to the Texans.
Texans at 12? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So they could go receiver. They could go defensive piece. They could try and trade up and go for a quarterback, even though I think all this time has just been Jordan Love, Jordan Love, Jordan Love. Yeah. What do you think? They're in a pretty weak division, I'd say. NFC North is pretty bad. I think the Vikings on the down. The Bears are on the up, but not up there yet. The Lions are obviously on the up. That they have winnable games in their division if Jordan Love can get some stuff cooking. But what's your predictions for them for the season? Where do you think they go from here?
I don't think people think that they can compete in the NFC North, but I actually do. The division is wide open. They have a lot of talent on defense. They have a lot of they still got Jair Alexander in there. They still got a few pieces on defense. They still got a decent
I don't
locker room
know.
as well. They got Christian
I don't know if it's
Watson. They're
wide
going to
open.
draft.
I don't know
Well,
if it's
it's
wide
between the
open.
Lions and the Vikings. So
I think it's the
not,
Lions.
not wide.
I think it's the
Yeah,
Lions.
not wide open. Not wide open.
Like,
I don't want to say not wide open. Wide open is strong, but I think they can compete in the division. Maybe win like
yeah.
6 or 7 games. I think Jordan Love showed a couple flashes in the time he did play. I think sitting behind Aaron Rodgers will benefit him in the long run. I think he still has a lot of talent. I think they'll draft a receiver, maybe like you said, JSN, Jordan Addison, Quentin Johnson, somebody like that. I think Christian Watson showed sign last year. They still got Aaron Jones. Maybe they can upgrade the offensive line as well. I think they may go there with the 13th pick.
They also got AJ Dillon as well. Don't forget AJ Dillon had a great year
AJ Dillon. So yeah, I mean, people are clowning the Packers. I think they still have a decently bright future. You finally get up under that. You had a $60 million headache in Aaron Rodgers. And I love Aaron Rodgers, but he was very unreliable for the Packers in the last couple of years. As far as is he going to play? Is he going to retire? There was a lot of drama field attention that didn't need, and they just need to focus on football. Hopefully, they find a receiver this year to give Jordan Love some weapons to help him proceed. But I like Jordan Love's potential. He has a very good NFL ready arm. I think he has escape ability. I think he'll be accurate. It just depends on what weapons they give him and how the offensive line is like. But I'm still pretty excited about the Packers' future going forward. So I'm not just going to abandon the Packers just because Aaron Rodgers is not on the team anymore. I'll also be watching them a little bit. I'll be watching the whole NFC North. I like what they got going on. I like what the Bears got going on. I like what the Lions got going on. And to the extent, I like what the Packers got going on as well. So I think they got a great return as well. So you got basically 2 first-round picks and a second. So that 42nd pick will be very valuable. I think they might even go O-line first in the second round to go receiver in the second.
That's what I was just gonna say. I think it's a very deep receiver class. You got Tank Dell, you got maybe Addison or Johnston drops, but the O lineman, if you can get Rodgers Jones, Skoronski, Paris Johnson, if he even falls, I think picking O-line first round would be great.
Yeah, I think they should go O-line then receiver in a second. That'll be my outlook for the Packers going into the season. I think they can surprise a couple people. Probably win like 7 or 8 games, and I think potentially
they even try to.
I think I gotta look at their schedule. potentially, I think they can probably like shop Aaron
I'll look it up.
Jones, shop shop Aaron Jones, maybe Jair Alexander as well, because those players need to go compete for championships, and I think they can be helpful
I
for
agree.
contenders, and I think contenders can give them a lot. So I think they get a lot of value just for the rebuild by trading Aaron Jones, trading Jair Alexander, people like
All right,
that, and they can jumpstart rebuild.
I'll run you through it. It actually looks like a pretty winnable schedule.
Yeah,
Just quickly before that though, I do think Aaron Jones and Jair could be gone. I don't think they'll have a great year, but that could work in their favor. Again, we keep talking about it. Caleb Williams, and Drake May in next year's draft, right? And if Jordan Love shows signs that he can play, you don't need a quarterback. You can trade that for years of first round picks and build your team around Jordan Love. Replace. No, you don't even need to replace Aaron Jones. You got AJ Dillon. You replace Jair. You can get maybe a number one next year if you try and get Marvin Harrison. Like they could set themselves up for the future. If they tank this year, I don't think they'll tank, but they play at Atlanta, at Carolina, 2 winnable games. At Chicago,
yep.
unfortunately, it's a winnable game. Denver, Detroit, Chicago. So I'd say lose to Denver, lose to Detroit, split it with Chicago, lose to Detroit, Minnesota, obviously, New Orleans, Tampa, KC, and the Chargers. They could beat New Orleans. They could beat Tampa. They play the Raiders. They play the Rams. They play the Steelers. And they play the Giants. I think we're looking at the schedule. If you split the division, like let's say you get 2 wins out of the division, I think you can go in and beat Atlanta. I think they can go in and beat Tampa. I think they can go in and beat Pittsburgh. Or like there's some pretty bad teams on their schedule. I didn't know their schedule was that bad. Like they could honestly go in and win
Yeah, it's
6, 7
pretty easy.
games.
It's pretty easy. So, like I said, they
But
can probably win six. The Bears
the
probably
Bears
lost.
schedule is easy. The Bears schedule is easy
Yeah,
too. I think the only team that got messed up, I think, is the Vikings. I think the Vikings have a bad schedule next
I
year.
mean, it's
But
because it's coming off last year, but yeah, the Vikings are definitely probably regress. I think the Lions. I think the Lions. It'd be Lions, Bears, Vikings, and then Packers. But I think the division will be pretty competitive. I think it'll be a lot more competitive than people think it will be. So
yeah, I think it could be
uh,
good. Yeah. The Lions. Oh shit. The Vikings have to play KC, the Chargers, the Bengals, the Niners, and the Eagles.
yeah,
Holy, that's
those are like
terrible.
that was
Yeah,
4 or
that's
5 losses you
terrible.
just named it right there.
That's terrible. Because the NFC North plays the NFC South this year. Right, we play the NFC South and the NFC West. But the NFC South, that's 4 easy wins for most teams, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not losing to New Orleans, not losing to Tampa, not losing to Carolina, not losing to Atlanta. So, yeah, that unless you got anything else to say about it though, that about wraps it up. We just want to get a quick episode out to all you guys talking about this. It's just ramping up more and more and more for the draft, ramping up more and more and more for kickoff next year. We'll have a lot of exciting
Um.
things. Obviously, I was gonna say we'll keep up with Lamar. I know you think that he's staying. I still think he could get traded. A big name still that's not got dealt yet is D Hop. I think D Hop is still gonna be on the move. Maybe draft night, maybe after if teams don't get the receiver they wanted.
Dalvin Cook.
Um,
Dalvin Cook should be on the
Dalvin
move as
Cook,
well. Draft
Dalvin
night.
Cook, maybe. The Cardinals just terrible, so I think that the Cardinals will look to get rid of him. Yeah, got a couple pieces still left to go around. Keenan Allen, if he gets cut, there's a couple pieces that still need to happen. But draft coming up. Will Levis's stock keeps rising because of Reddit. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, definitely lots to be excited for the NFL after having back to back weeks of NBA content. We finally have some NFL stuff to keep up with.
Yeah, and the last thing I just wanted to say was I think we're gonna figure something out for draft night, either instant reactions, maybe a live stream. I don't know. I know we're gonna push out a lot of NFL content like directly following the draft. That's what we want to do. But like Max said, we haven't talked about NFL in so long. So we're gonna definitely be pushing the NFL as long as the NBA hard this week. This is our last couple weeks of school, so we're gonna have a lot more free time in the summer to talk NBA, NFL. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot more free time. So
we should do like a finals watch party. We should have a live. We should do a finals thing for like whatever game 1, game 2, the finals. That'd be kind of nice. But yeah, it could be a lot more coming next couple of weeks with all of us getting off school. So.
Yeah, thank you for everybody that's watching. Follow our social medias up the top on here. At the Real Tit for Tat podcast, and Tit for Tat on TikTok. We're consistently growing, about to hit 1,000 followers on TikTok, about to hit 200 subscribers on YouTube. So if you're seeing this, like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching.
Appreciate you guys.